QuickBooks Online 2025, the profit and loss reports, otherwise known as income statement reports. We're going to be exporting them to Excel, combining them with some of the balance sheet reports, allowing us to do further formatting on those reports within Excel, and then put them all on one PDF file with the help and use of a PDF printer. Get ready and some coffee because we're learning how to save time with QuickBooks Online 2025. We are online in our browser, searching for that QuickBooks Online test drive, the free sample company file available to everybody. Looking for the result that has intuit.com in the URL because Intuit is the owner of QuickBooks. We're going to be choosing the United States version of the software and then verify that we're not a robot. Why? Because QuickBooks is a safe space for humans. There's no robots around. This is a safe space for humans. I'm almost thinking there might be robots among us here because I feel like a smart robot might be able to check that box off. And then that means that there is no safe space. The robot invasion has happened. There's got to be robots around here. I don't think they can keep them out with a chip, whatever. Anyways, we're in the sample company file, Craig's Design and Landscaping Services. We're going to open up the major financial statement reports like we do every time. The report's on the left-hand side. We're in the standard tab. In the favorites, right-click in the balance sheet to open a link in a new tab. We'll right-click the profit and loss or income statement to open a link in a new tab. Let's go to the middle tab for formatting's sake and close up the hamburger. Do the range change, 2-year time frame, 01/01/24 tab, 12/31/24 tab. Selecting the drop-down to see it in years. Run it to refresh it. You got to run if you want to be refreshed. What happened here? I wanted to go to 2025. I messed up. Run it again. Run it again. Do another lap. QuickBooks. Tap into the right. Close on the hamburger. Let's do it again. 01/01/24 tab. 12/31/25 tab. Selecting the drop down to see it in years. Running to refresh it. All right, we're going to continue on with those profit and loss reports. This time, we want to exercise the idea of exporting the reports to Excel. Now, in a prior course or section, we had practiced exporting using the balance sheet reports. So we saw them in Excel here. If you haven't done that, that's okay. We could still basically practice the exporting of the reports here, but I'm going to be adding them to this worksheet so we get the idea of getting all of our reports on one worksheet. That's going to be the general idea that we want to take away so that we can then, if we wanted to, do further formatting in Excel, possibly adding a title page or other pages in Excel or combining them with Word for even more functionality, although more complex to do. And then we can export using a PDF printer to put them all on one sheet, which gives us the most flexibility and customization options if we're going to be batching our reports together, keeping in our mind the idea that we're going to put our reports together periodically, monthly, quarterly, yearly, for the client to build trust, basically, by making them look nice. It's not enough just to be trustworthy. That's just the start. That's like the baseline. That's like barely you're on the field right there, but you're not going to score any points unless you build the trust with competence, right? And part of the competence is presentation. That's what I feel like, maybe. So that's what I try to do here. So we're going to then say, let's open up some more reports, and we could give them to the client by grouping them together and then giving them to someone in a OneDrive or something like that. Or, as we're going to do here, put them into Excel. So let's go to this first tab. Now, notice the other option we have, of course, are the management reports and putting them into this report. This report format is a little bit better, a little bit more advanced than just giving them the PDF files, but there's very limited formatting in it. We're going to have more formatting this way. So we're going to create the reports again, because we refreshed the screen, and we'll do this every time. We'll save the reports, and then we'll export them to Excel. Then we'll use Excel to print them on one PDF file. So we're just focusing on the profit and loss. Let's right-click and open another P&L report. Go into that one, and let's do some formatting for formatting's sake. Close the hamburger so I got some elbow room around here. I can't work when you're crunching, when you're crowding me. 01/01/25 to let's do 2024. That's what we were doing. 2024 12 31 24, and then we're going to say that let's run that one, and then I'm going to collapse it so that all of the little sub accounts are then collapsed. So that's basically our summary profit and loss. I'm doing this quickly because we saw it before, and this isn't really our point of focus this time. But let's customize it just quickly. No pennies, negative numbers bracketed and red, header and footer. I'm going to say that we want this to be an income statement, and then I'm going to say summary income statement. And then we're going to say no date, time, report basis, run it. And then I'll save the customization. I'm going to put it in a new report, calling it month end reports. Let's just call it month end. We know they're reports. It's in the reports group, for crying out loud. You don't need to do that. It's redundant. And let's say this is going to be number 4 report that we're on. And I will save that. Let's save that. And just to check out what happens then, if I go to the first tab and we go to the customized reports and refresh the screen, we should have the report here, and the balance sheet reports would have been saved. And this is report number 4 after the balance sheet reports, so that we can, in future months, just simply open them up, export them, format them, and then save them all. So let's go over here, and now I'm going to export to Excel. So let's go ahead and export to Excel. It makes me save it first these days, which is kind of annoying because I don't really want to save it. I just want to export it. I'm just going to call it, well, let's just export it here to the transfer file. I'll save this. I'll copy it and then save it. And then let's see if I can find it. We'll go donde, see if I can find it here. And let's make it large S. And so there it is. Let's open it up. So now I want to take this tab now and add it to my other workbook. So if this was my first workbook I would open, I would save it as reports, not just as the income statement report. But what I want to do is add it to the workbook we started before with the balance sheet reports. If you don't have this, that's okay. You can just add all the reports to one Excel worksheet. That's our practice. So I could add another tab and then copy and paste, but I think it's a little bit better if we have both the workbooks open to simply go to the one that we want to transfer, right click on it, and then I'm going to go to move or copy, and then I want to make a copy of it, selecting the drop down. This gives me the open workbooks. This is the one I want to move it to with the reports. That's the one. Okay. There it is. It always puts it on the first tab. I'm going to grab it by left click, drag it to the right. So it's on the right hand side, P&L. I'm just going to put summary, or SUM for the summary. So there it is. Now, of course, we could do further formatting. So I'm going to go to the view tab on the right and then back to the left. So now I can see where the page break is. And so note, I would like to have it kind of centered. So what I would typically do is select the column A, right click, insert a column. And now I want column A, holding down control, and column D to be the same size. So at least it's in the middle of the page, right? So then I can get more technical than that to have the same size to be a certain size and so on. And then I kind of like this to be a little bit smaller. This is what we did before. So I'll, whoop, not that way. Well, let's do that. That's fine. And then make this one go in. So now I have the total column is a bit smaller, and that makes, I like that. And then I like to have the underlines. I'm going to replace the underlines with this underline, just to show some stuff you can do here. And then I'm going to put brackets around the whole thing for formatting's sake. Home tab, font group, brackets. I'm not saying this is the ideal formatting. I'm just showing that you could format it differently, extremely differently. And then I'm going to select this and say, maybe we want this black and white. Maybe we want to change the font, just to show you that we can do a lot more formatting here than we could in QuickBooks. So let's do this. Let's do a similar. Now, when I print all of these on one page, I can then go to the File tab. I could go to the printing options, and I'm using a cute PDF printer, which is free. I believe still. I'm not advertising for them or anything, but I've been using that for a while. And then I don't want to print just the one worksheet, but the entire workbook, which means I have the balance sheet reports and then the income statement. So I can get them all on one PDF file without any fancy software that way. All right, let's do another one. Otra vez, por favor. Let's go to the first tab. Another P&L standard. Right click on the P&L. Once again, opening up another one. This one, I want the vertical analysis. So let's close up the ham boogie. Let's give me some elbow room. I can't work when people are like too close to me. I don't know. I'm sorry. I need my room so I can move around and stuff. I'm going to hit the drop down and we're going to say we need this to be in years. Okay. And then we'll select the drop down here and we want % of income. Run it. And then let's do our customization up top. Customize it. We'll say no pennies, negative numbers bracketed, red, headers and footers. We want income statement vertical analysis, something like that. Boom. Get rid of the date, time, report basis. Done. Saved. Let's save the customization. We're going to call it into the month end. Call it report number 5. Save it. And then we'll export it to Excel once again. Export to Excel. Donde, there it is. Export it to Excel. And we're going to put it in the same location. So there it is. See if I can find it over here. It's getting messy. It's getting messy. That's okay. And so now I'm just going to move it to, now I don't want the other report open. I just want one at a time. There's too many things happening at one time. Focus. I need to, multitasking is a myth. Multitasking is a myth. You have to have one thing open at a time so we can do it in order. All right, so then we're going to be right-clicking on the tab down below, move it, and then we're going to go and create a copy, select the drop-down. We want to move it into this report in a new tab and say OK. And then I'm going to grab it and move it to the right. And then we can do our formatting if we wanted to on it. So I'm going to go to the view to the right, back to the left to see where the end is. I'm going to add another column in front so I can center this thing. Insert, holding down, select A, holding down Control, selecting E, make it a little bit thinner. So I'm just trying to make some margins around it that are the same size. And then I don't need this total column. So notice that's kind of ugly and I can't get rid of it in QuickBooks. But here I could just say, select that row. Get out of here. You're ugly. That thing is ugly. I don't mean to be rude, okay? But that thing is ugly. So, oh my God. Did you just call the formatting ugly? What am I going to do? What do you want me to do? You want me to lie about it? I'm not saying I'm the prettiest thing here. I'm trying to make the reports pretty at least to compensate for my I can make something. Okay, I'm going to say home tab font group. Let's underline this. And then we could make this skinnier. Let's take these two and make them skinnier. Those need to be skinnier. That's too wide. And then I can take these two. Well, let's make this one wider now. And so for formatting's sake. And then we'll put brackets around it just to make it somewhat, or we'll put some borders around it to make it somewhat. I'm not saying this is the perfect formatting. I'm just saying, look at all the formatting we could do. We could do crazy stuff here. This is going to be the profit and loss, and I'm going to call it profit and loss vert. And I'll delete the profit and losses that are over here so that we can make another one. It won't let me delete it. I have it open. Why don't you let me delete it? I said delete. I said delete. Don't you talk back to me. This is my computer. I make the rules around here. All right, let's do another one. Let's go to the first tab, and then we'll right-click and open another one. And this time, we'll do by quarter. So let's go from 01/01/24 to 12/31/24. Select the drop-down, and we want to see it by quarter. And run it. There we have that one. All right, let's go ahead and just format that. Customize formatting, cents, negative numbers bracketed, red, header and footer. We want income statement by QT. Let's just say QT. Get rid of these. Boom. And then we'll save the customization, as would be our normal custom. I think, what were we on? I don't even know what number we're on now. We're on it was 4, 5, 6, I think, maybe 6. Let's save it. It's not a big deal anyways. Because we're focused here on the exporting. That's what we're focused on. No need to get too distracted with the details right now. We've got to get into the multitasking's a myth, man. Multitasking's a myth. All right, you can chew gum and stuff, but that's not the same as other types of. Anyway, let's go ahead and then move it. And then we're going to say create a new copy, select the drop down into our reports. Okay. And then maybe I'll close this other one now so I don't forget later. I'll grab this, pull it to the right, and then we can do some further formatting here. So let's go. I'm going to view it over here, view it back here. Now this one's too fat, too wide. You're too wide. So what could we do? We could change the orientation, but I'll try first to just skinnyerize it up a little bit. Just make this a little thinner. And then maybe dude, if you just lost a little around the edges here, then that's all you need to do. It shouldn't be that bad. You're not way out, you know? And then we're going to say, let's go and put some underlines under these, which has normally been what we've been doing. I'm holding down Control to select them all at the same time. I'm holding down Control because I have control. I've got control. All right, and then we'll put some borders around it for formatting's sake. And then Home tab, font group, borderize it. Make it black and white. Black, white. All right, let's do one more. One more round. Go to the first tab and we'll open another P&L. And I didn't hear no bell. I only stop when I hear the bell because that's when food is served. I don't stop until I hear a bell, dang it. I didn't hear no bell, so there ain't no food. Tell me to stop. I'm gonna select the drop down and let's do let's do just comparing November and December. So let's go December 12/01/24, run it, and then we want to compare it to the previous period of November. And then there's our horizontal analysis. Let's customize it for formatting's sake. No pennies, negative numbers bracketed, red, header and footer. Let's call it an income statement. Income statement. And then we'll say this is horizontal analysis, let's say, for months. We should say months versus quarters or any other kind of thing. And then we'll say no date, time, report basis, run it, MUI B to the N, and then we'll save the customization. I think we're on number 7 or something. If I'm remembering correctly, I might not be, but that's okay. I could fix it later if I wanted to. That's not where I'm focused right now. That's not where I'm spending my time, my attention putting my attention where it should be, where it's important. Let's do, this is important stuff right here. And then we're going to then open it up, and then I'm going to go to the tab down below, right click, and then move it. And then I'm going to create a copy, select the drop down, move it to the reports folder. There it is. Pull it to the right. And look at all these reports we got. This is crazy. This is going to P and L horizontal. And then let's see, I don't need this total here again. Let's format it a little bit. So this one's too wide again, but I don't need this total. That's ugly. That's ugly. Let's go to this row, get that out of here. Whoever you've been working with before we did your bookkeeping, if they put that total in there, they're lame. They don't know how to format like we do. We make it, because that total is ugly. And then, like, you may not be used to this, but we make a fancy header on our title because other people don't even know how to do it. You know, we go to the home tab font group, we make it black and white so it looks like cool, and then this lines across, that's no good. That's not as cool as what we do. That's what like most people do, but it's not as like, we're more sophisticated than that over here, which reflects not only our formatting, but also our competence. Just so you know, home tab font group, we put an underline like that. And then, so you don't get confused, like where your eyes are going on the report, because it's all just blank space, we put the brackets around it, which adds a significant amount of clarity to the reports. Okay, so then once we have them all, we can then print them. So if I go to the first tab over here, and then I'm gonna print it using the cute PDF printer and the entire workbook. So now we've got the balance sheet over here just to look at it, and we've got then the income statement. I'm not saying it's formatted perfectly. I'm not like a professional formatter, but I'm just saying look at all the stuff we could do if you were like really good at formatting stuff. You know? That's what I'm trying to say. And then, so we're going to export it, and then we'll put it right here, reports. I'll just overwrite this one. All right, so now, instead of like giving someone all these reports, it's like, that's what lame bookkeepers do, man. What we do is we put it in like one PDF file and give it to you. And so it looks like this. And then, so again, it's not perfect formatting, but you could see, you could format it pretty nicely, right? If you knew what you were doing. So there's just a lot of options. Now, of course, doing that formatting takes more time, but you could see once you get good at it, it doesn't take a whole lot of time to format it if you wanted to. So that's just basically something to think about, Some options could make us stand out a bit. We want to stand out. Sometimes it's good to stand out. Other times when you stand out, you get smacked or whatever. It's like, oh, maybe I'll step back again. But no, we're going to stand out because we get things done over here, and that's so that's the general idea.